The legal documents quivered between my fingers, not from fear, but because the names felt misplaced. Claimants, my mother and father.
Respondent me.
I stood by myself in the kitchen of the home I had purchased outright, paid for with my own earnings. Morning light sliced across the stone countertops, sharp and unforgiving. Legal phrases leapt off the pages: unfair gain, psychological harm. But the sentence that punched the air out of my lungs wasn't typed at all. It was scribbled in a margin, my mother's familiar curls of ink pressing through the copy. You lived the life meant for your sister. A laugh escaped me, short, fractured, unfamiliar. It faded quickly, replaced by something hard and cold. That was when it became clear. This was never about money. Not once. I was 18 when I launched my company. No backers. No cushion. Just sleepless nights, an old laptop I didn't own, and a drive forged by years of being told I was the lesser child. My sister Lily was everything our family revolved around. The miracle child. Perfect scores. Gentle manner. Constant medical concerns. Our world bent around her appointments, her needs, her fragility. I mastered the art of becoming invisible. Quiet. Unnoticed. When Lily passed away at 16, our home imploded. Grief sharpened my parents, made them volatile. They clung to her memory like evidence that they had once done everything right. I didn't mourn the way they did. I couldn't. I had balances due. Tuition invoices they had stopped covering once Lily's illness worsened. Staying alive became my priority. I worked relentlessly. I built something from nothing. I cleared every debt. At 24, when I paid cash for the house, they stood frozen in the doorway, outsiders at a ceremony they didn't belong to. Their embraces lingered too long. Their smiles strained. That should have been my warning. The interference started subtly. A client payment delayed without reason. A supplier suddenly withdrawing after an unsettling conversation. A banking inquiry I hadn't requested. Then came the probing questions. Why do you need so much room? My father asked, strolling through my office, eyes measuring every detail. Who's backing you? My mother murmured once, as if success itself were suspicious. They began appearing without notice. Sitting. Observing. Saying very little. At night, I replayed every exchange, catching what I'd overlooked, the way my mother stiffened when I mentioned legal counsel, the way my father memorized my routine. Grief doesn't decay silently.
It spreads.
The truth revealed itself by accident. An email landed in my inbox that wasn't meant for me. My mother had copied the wrong address. We must argue that the company was formed through emotional coercion and by misusing family support that was meant for Lily. I stared until the words lost meaning and became motive. This wasn't rage. It was revision. My sacrifices were recast as crimes. My achievements reframed as insults to a girl who could no longer speak. They had stopped grieving her. They were punishing me in her name. I didn't break down. I didn't raise my voice. I shut my laptop and sat motionless, listening to my breathing slow. That was the instant affection ended and calculation began. I stayed silent. Let them believe I was shocked, overwhelmed, helpless. While they submitted filings, I gathered evidence. Invoices, messages, voicemails they forgot existed, proof of unpaid obligations, records of loans opened under my identity when I was still a child. I retained a forensic accountant quietly, watched the evidence connect like tracks forming in fresh snow. They had reached out to rivals, spread lies, attempted to lock my accounts through emotional pleas and falsified accusations. They made one mistake. I had constructed my life carefully in isolation. Neglect had taught me endurance. Silence became protection. Waiting became leverage. The courtroom carried the scent of disinfectant and aged wood. My parents sat opposite me, hands folded, faces rehearsed into expressions of noble sorrow. Their lawyer spoke of equity, of blood ties, of how I had taken what destiny had denied my sister. When I rose, I moved slowly. I didn't acknowledge them. I addressed the judge. Then I presented everything. The liabilities shifted onto me. The funds allegedly reserved for Lily that had never existed. The correspondence. The recordings. The calls placed to undermine my business. The atmosphere changed. Color drained from my mother's face as her own voice echoed through the room. My father's jaw locked as transaction histories filled the screen. For once, they weren't controlling the narrative. Their case was dismissed. Their conduct referred for further scrutiny. But the moment that stays with me came afterward, when my mother finally met my eyes. Not with sorrow, with fear. The house is quiet now. Not the suffocating stillness of loss, but the earned calm that follows destruction. I didn't ruin them. I didn't have to. I simply refused to continue being the offering they demanded. Lily is gone. That truth remains. What I will no longer accept is being punished for staying alive. They tried to dismantle my existence piece by piece, convinced it belonged to someone else. Now they understand it never did. I stand again in the same kitchen where those papers once shook in my grasp. Sunlight stretches across the counters, still sharp, still bright. Only now, it doesn't feel like a weapon. It feels like peace.